Hey guys, welcome to this Master at Riff. As I mentioned when I got this N2, I want to start looking at a lot of Nuno stuff, so I'm going to kick off first track of Porno Graffiti. I'm going to show you how to play Decadence Dance, and in this lesson I'm going to go through all the rhythm guitar parts, all the little fills, all the little tappy bits, all the little things that Nuno throws in, and there's a hell of a lot of stuff in this track. If you want to look at how to play the solo, check out the Master of the Solo lesson here. Got that here, and you'll get a good in-depth lesson play the solo, but this lesson we're just going to deal with the rhythm tracks. Okay, so I'm a half step down for this, so I've got my E to E flat, A to A flat, D to D flat, G to G flat, B to B flat, and this high E to E flat as well. Yeah. So the intro to Decadence Dance, we've got all the sound effects at the start, with the piano kind of part, but I'm going to look at these little intro chords at the beginning. So this is what the intro bit sounds like. So first thing, Nuno's well known for kind of, particularly in this era, double tracking these guitar parts. And you can hear this in the recording. You've kind of got a little bit in the left channel, a little bit in the right channel. I'm going to look at kind of playing it for kind of one guitar, kind of how Nuno does it live-ish. He kind of changes things up a little bit. So what we have in this intro bit is obviously double track, but if we look at the kind of general chords, this is what you could do with one guitar. So you're going to start off with an A power chord. Kind of stacked fifth power chord like that. So what I'm playing, second fret the D string, second fret the G string, and fifth fret the B and E. I'm playing that all together, 4 strings. And I give it a good wobble with the whammy bar there just to give it a bit of vibrato on it. Then effectively I'm going to play a D sus4, sorry. So these notes that were on the 5th fret, the B and E string, go down to the 3rd fret. So I'm playing like a D chord, the pinky on, so go open D string, 2nd fret the G, and then 3rd fret of that B and E string. But I kind of scoop into it with the whammy bar, the vibrato on it. Yeah. Then we take that sus off, make it a normal D chord. So I just take the pinky off, and I'm on the 2nd finger on the 2nd fret, that high E string, again with a scoop on the bar. And then you have kind of 3 chords in a row here that go. So the way I'm going to playing this is up here. You know, in the recording there could be double guitars that are implying this kind of chord, but this is a general good sound to kind of go for to get that kind of feel. So I'm playing kind of like a 5th fret of the D string here, and then 7th fret of the G, and then I've got 8th fret of the B string there. So it's kind of like a G power chord here. But I scoop into it. Then I'm going to play open A string, and then I'm going to bar 5th fret in the D and G strings there. So it's kind of like a little, I guess that's like a flat 7. That's a flat 3rd A, so something like a wee minor 7 kind of sound. And then I move that down, so you've got an A power chord. So I take the bar, the 5th fret, move it to the 2nd fret. So I've got open A string, and then 2nd fret, the D and the G strings. Again, a little kind of scoop. And then the kind of riff will start, yeah. So that's it. So slowly you've got that. And the time is quite free. Cool. So the main riff, intro part, sounds like this. So this main riff, I remember when I first got Porno Graffiti way back in the day, and then I got the infamous kind of tab book, which is interesting with some of its kind of finger placement for stuff. But this riff is one that always kind of flummoxed me. I mean, He-Man Woman Hater's another one. In fact, Nuno in general, he's quite a tricky player to kind of decipher what he's going on, what he's doing. So there's a lesson that obviously he did that's available on YouTube when he's playing through things. And that's a really good insight to see what he's kind of doing here. Because I think the tricky thing with this riff is just getting this kind of feel of the groove of it. I mean, and a lot of that is, the kind of crux of a lot of Nuno's playing is just getting that feel and groove. But what you're going to start off with, it's kind of like a 2-bar kind of main riff, this. I've got our little lead-in is always going to come in pretty much with a pinch harmonic 4th fret of that G string. Yeah, and we're always playing that power chord, the A power chord's on the and beat 4, so it's always kind of a and then you're into the kind of beat 1 type thing. So I kind of play, I've got 3rd finger. Nuno does this with 4th finger, but I'm going to use my 3rd finger. I'm going to 4th fret, pinch harmonic, bit there, close to my bridge pickup here, and you've got a whole step up and down bend. And I've got an A power chord, so I'm just doing A string and 2nd fret that D string now. But the rhythm of this, obviously, that's like an and, so it's and 1, and then you hit it again in the end of beat 1. And then we have the little kind of twiddly bit here. So I think in the original tablet, this is to have with like a pull-off. I'm sure I'm seeing other transcriptions with pull-offs. And that's a logical thing to kind of think of. But when you see Nuno play this, his drumming kind of background or feel with a lot of things, he's thinking of that kind of group of 4. So what you're going to do here is I'm going to play basically open A string and then 4th fret of the D string there. Take that 3rd finger off to the 2nd fret the D string. Yeah. And the way I'm going to play this is I'm going to do a downstroke and then an upstroke when I take that off to the 2nd fret and then back to the 4th fret with the 3rd finger and a downstroke. So you can think of this little 3/16 of a down up down. Yeah. Then this is the little bit that's always caused a bit of kind of grief. You're now going to go quickly slide from 4th fret to the 5th fret with an upstroke like that. Yeah. Now Nuno plays this with his 4th finger. Yeah. I like to use my 3rd finger and I'll talk about why in a second. Yeah. Once you've done that little slide, I go back to the A power chord with an upstroke. Okay. So what you've got here is kind of like and 2E and a and. So it's and 2E and a and. Yeah. What makes it awkward is you've got that grace note slide at the end of it, so it feels like you're playing 5 notes, but it's really over the space of 4. So you're really doing 1E and a. Yeah. So that's that kind of bit there. So you've done that. Now, I've seen Nuno start that next part, the kind of 2nd bar of the riff, with an upstroke and a downstroke. I personally feel comfortable with an upstroke because it's kind of the and of the beat. And I feel a bit more comfortable with that to get the kind of groove for this next bit. So I do that A power chord again with an upstroke, and then A power chord again. Then I've got my little 4/2/4 with a down up down. Then I'm going to slide to 4th to 6th fret on the G string, but it's a grace note slide, so you're really just thinking 6. And then you're back to the A power chord again. Now the reason why I use my 3rd finger is when I do that bit, I can do the 4/2/4 with my 3rd finger and then slide with the 4th finger without having to move the finger up a string. Nuno though will play that with his 4th finger. He'll do the 4/2/4 with the 4th finger, and then when he does the slide, he'll use his pinky as well. And you go back to that A power chord there. Yeah. And that's kind of your 2 bars. So from like the initial A power chord, it kind of goes like that, just to kind of play it twice. And that's kind of the main riff. Yeah. So in this intro bit, we play it twice. So we do this, we've got our 4/5 ones. Then we do another slide from 4/5. Then we have So we have this basically A power chord, and then we've got a little pinch harmonic at the 4th fret, A power chord, and I'm going to slide a B power chord up to a C sharp power chord. So I'm playing 2nd fret the A, 4th and the D there. It's a quick slide up 2 frets. So you've now got C sharp power chord, 4 in the A string, 6 in the D string there, and then back, yeah, then A power chord again. Okay, play that twice, and then I'm going to play a D. Okay, so I've done that A power chord, and then just play a D chord. So, you know, 2nd fret of the G string, 3rd in the B, and 2nd fret of the high E string. I play like D, G, and B strings, and then what I'm going to do is play with the open A string, kind of a building feel to it. So I kind of go and 2 and 3 and 4. And then you got through the riff again, the pinch harmonic bit, do that all again. And then we have the ending before the verse starts. So you do your A power chord, then go to a G chord. So I'm going to do the up down. Then I've got a D. So the way I play that is I play the D kind of power chord, open D string, 2nd fret G, and then 3rd fret of that B string. And of course my G chord is 3rd fret E string, and I'm doing actually the 3rd fret of the B and E strings there. So it's a bigger sounding chord. And then that quick change, very DC-esque, I do the D, and then I play like the 3rd fret of the E string with the open D and G strings, back to the D chord, you know. And then we get into the verse, okay? And that verse bit sounds like this. So first verse, about 16 bars long. So we've just done the... So the verse starts with a kind of accented kind of A power chord. So I'm just playing like open A string, and you're probably barring 2nd fret of the D and the G strings. So you might hear kind of the G strings are. Then the silence. Then we have one of these to kind of lead into the next bit. So what I'm doing there is I'm just doing a quick down up, a kind of like and a 4 on the beat, and I'm just sliding up and down the E and A strings there. And the reason why that's a good kind of lead in is it kind of keeps the groove kind of going along, you know. So once I've done that, I then do the A power chord, and the way I play it is like kind of down and then up. So it's like a dotted 8th and a 16th, so you've kind of got that down and then up. It's got that kind of long down, short up thing. Then I have this, or if I play it right. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm pan muting the A string with a quick down up. Now this can be quite tricky with the groove and the speed of this sort of song. So you might want to practice this kind of in isolation, but do that pan mute A string down up. Then I'm going to slide to the 4th fret the D string with the middle finger. And then my first finger plays 3rd fret the B string there. Yeah, because you've got these little 6ths or inverted 3rds, depends on when you look at them. Yeah. And then the next one I'm going to slide to the 5th fret, you know, kind of from like maybe like the 4th fret. Yeah, so that kind of goes 3rd to 4th, and then you've got 4th to 5th, and then my 3rd finger plays 5th fret the B string there. So that kind of goes. Yeah. Then you have another kind of down up in the A power chord. Then I've got the pan mute A string in, down up. Then I've got, yeah, so I'm going to slide now 5 to 7 on the D string, and then my 3rd finger plays 7th fret the B string. Then I'm going to slide 7 to 5 on that D string, coming back down, and then 5th fret of that B string. Yeah, so those kind of 2 bars kind of go. yeah, and that's your kind of 4 bars. Then we do it again. We've got an A power chord, and sometimes it's going to be hard to hear in the recording, but you might feel with the groove, they might want to do a down and an up rather than just a down, yeah. Next 4 bars, we'll do a down and up. Then we have another one of our slides, but this kind of comes in a little bit earlier. It kind of feels like on kind of beat 3. Because what I'm going to do here, and this is something that you can hear is slightly different between the 2 tracks. I'm kind of listening to the right track a little bit, or the right kind of channel. And it sounds like he does these little pickups, little down up. So when I'm doing this bit here, I'm going to play the A string, you know, down up, maybe pan muted. Yeah, just to kind of tee up this little bit here. And what I'm doing here, I'm going to hammer 3 to 5 in the A string, then play open G string. So I do that with a down and an up stroke, down, up. And then I do 3rd fret the A string, and then 5th fret the E string. Yeah. And in between this bit here, it always feels like sometimes there's a little percussive hit to hit the 7th fret. You know, I might put that in the tab or not, but you could also do and put a space in there as well. But again, with the groove of things, you might want to put those little 16ths in. And in the right channel, I hear another little couple of 16ths before he does this. So he does 7th fret, slide, you've just slide to the 3rd finger. I'm going to hit that 7th fret with a down up before I do this run. Yeah. Which is really, really cool. So what I'm doing here is I'm going to do 7 hit, and I'm going to do a hammer on 5 to 6, and then 7 5 in the D string. So think of little groups of 4. Yeah. Then I'm going to do 7 5 on the D string, 7 6 in the A string, like that. So it goes. So that bit there in the D string, you're playing 7 5 twice, so you can accent the 7 in those 2 7 5s. Yeah, to get that kind of feel of the kind of locking in with the rhythm of it. Then I'm going to do 5 5 staccato feel 2/8, and then I'm going to do 5 3, and I just move 5 3 with the finger here. Yeah, so that run kind of goes with the pickup. Yeah, and then you're back into this again. Another one of those. Then we have our A power chord again. And then this time you're going to do a little pick behind the nut. Yeah. So I just kind of start from the high E string. I'm going to pick back like that. And we have a little lead in again. 2 A strings. Yeah, so everything's the same there. It's just when you end it, I'm going to do a G power chord, 3rd fret E string, 5th fret A string. Then I'm going to move it down a fret, so you've got an F sharp power chord, so 2nd fret E string, 4th fret A string, and then an E power chord, open E, 2nd fret that A string. You can put a bit of pan mute on it if you want it a bit more punchy. Yeah. So those little last 2 bars there kind of go. Yeah, and then we're leading to the pre-chorus, the first pre-chorus, and the first pre-chorus sounds like this. We start the pre-chorus from the verse, that E power chord. Then what I'm going to do is move up and play this E power chord up here. Yeah. So what I've got here is I'm playing 7th fret the A string with the 1st finger, and I've got 9th fret the D string with the 3rd finger, which is a typical E power chord up here. But I'm going to start this off with actually the pinky on, kind of status quo styly. Well, I've got 11th fret of the D string with the 4th finger with this power chord, you know, you get that sound. And what you're going to do is you play that E power, open E string, pan muted, to kind of transition from here to get yourself into position. Then what I'm going to do is play that chord with the pinky on, pan mute the A string, 7th fret, and then I'm going to do 3rd finger to 4th finger back on again, like that. So it kind of goes, yeah. Then I'm going to move this up to an F sharp power chord. So I'm at 9th fret of the A string, 11th fret of the D. Yeah. Hold that there. Then I put the pinky on at the 12th fret of the D string here. So you kind of got that F sharp power chord, palm mute A string, then pinky on, palm mute A string, and then do 3rd finger to 4th finger, like that. So that kind of goes. Yeah, so it's kind of like a rock and roll kind of vibe thing. Yeah, then we have this. Okay, this is really, really cool. Again, use the 6ths or inverted thirds again. So I'm going to slide, kind of like, probably, I mean, you can slide from any position, but you can hear from like the 6th fret maybe. So it's got that grace note slide. 2nd fret is on the, sorry, my 2nd finger is on the D string, and my 3rd finger is on the B string, and I'm going to slide from the 6th fret to the 7th fret. Yeah. And it's like, and 2 and 3. Yeah, so you're hitting that 4 times after you do the slide. Then I'm going to do, if I think of the 4th time as being a descent down, so I'm doing like 7th fret, 6th fret, 5th fret and 4th fret with the same shape, so you kind of go. You could do a lot of down strokes, you do it with like alternate pick or strumming kind of feel. Yeah, so you've got down, up, and this little descent thing starts in the down. Yeah, and when you get to the 4th fret, you hit it, and you hear, maybe this is where it's all played with downstrokes, you might hear like 4th fret the D string. Yeah, and then you hit it again just before you play the next bit, so it kind of goes. Yeah, then we have this bit that sounds like this. Yeah, so what I'm going to do is here, I'm going to slide to a G power chord from the 2nd fret. So I'm on 2nd fret E string, 4th fret the A string there. I'm going to quickly slide up to the up fret, so it's a G power chord, 3rd fret E, 5th fret of the A string. And then I go back and play that F sharp power chord to an open E power chord. Yeah. Again, you've got this palm mute and the E string here to lead into this next bit, and I'm playing a little octave thing here. I use my 1st and 4th finger, which Nuno does as well, but I'm going to do all with downstrokes, palm mute, and then this is in the beat. So I'm playing that octave, 4th fret of the A string, 6th fret of the G string. The D string gets muted underneath the 1st string here, so you can get a bit more kind of bigger with the movement. And I'm just playing an octave, then a E string, so you go up, 4th fret, E string, 5th fret, 6th fret, 7th fret, and then come back down, 6th fret, 5th fret, 4th fret, like that. So it kind of goes yeah, you've got that E string there. Then what I'm going to do is play a D power chord here. So I'm going to play 5th fret of the A string, and I'm going to bar with the 3rd finger at the 7th fret of the D and the G strings. Why, you may ask? Because I'm going to build this chord up to kind of like a sus. So play this D chord, power chord. Yeah. So what you're doing here is you're playing like the A, D and G strings. I like to put a little percussive kind of feel here. So I'm kind of playing on the offbeats. So I kind of do a downstroke percussive thing. Then I'm going to put my pinky on the 8th fret of the B string there to make it like a sus. Yeah. Then what I'm going to do is put the pinky on here, and I'm going to bar the 8th fret of the B and the E string. Yeah. So you can go hit the mostly the kind of B and the G strings here. You might hear the D string. And then the top kind of chord is the 8th fret of the E, D, and then 7th fret that G string there. Yeah. So it kind of goes. So you can put the pinky on as you're playing it, you know. Yeah. Yeah. And that's basically your kind of pre-chorus, okay? The chorus sounds like this. So we lead into the chorus with the usual, yeah, little pinch harmonic, 4th fret, bend up and down. And in the same rhythm there as you've kind of got from the main riff. But what we're doing here is I'm then going to do this little kind of 6th slide, or again inverted 3rd slide. So we're aiming for 14th fret on the D string and the B string here. So on the tab, I might notate it like from 12, like, you know, but you're kind of sliding from up here, so you might hear it from lower before. It doesn't really matter, as long as you hear that, you get that landing there. So you slide into it and then hit it again. Again, I do an upstroke for that because it's in the offbeat, yeah. And then you do that again. Then you have this. So what I'm going to do here is slide into kind of a D power chord here. 5th fret A string, 7th fret of that D string there. Yeah. So again, you slide into it, then hit it twice. I do up, down. Then I'm going to go. So there's a little A string there that leads into. Yeah. So you're kind of copying what the kind of vocal line's kind of doing a little bit there. So what I'm doing there is I'm sliding from 4th fret into 3rd fret. So it's like a B to C power chord. So 2nd fret A, 4th fret that D string. Then I'm going to slide up and then to the C power chord and then back, open A string, and then you've got your A power chord again, yeah, which leads into. Okay, so slowly that kind of goes. Yeah, that sort of idea. Then we have a bunch of chords. So the chords we're going to play is a G power chord. Yeah, so I'm playing 3rd fret the E string, open D, G string, and then 3rd fret the B and the E strings there. This is going to go to like a D sus2, so you're playing like an open D string, 2nd fret G, 3rd fret of the B string, and then I've got that open A string, E string at the top. Then I've got an E chord. Yeah, so I'm playing like open E, the 2nd fret the A and D strings, 1st in the G string, open B and E strings. Yeah, and then an A, probably power chords when you start playing it, but what we're doing is barring the 2nd fret of the D, G and B strings with an open A string. And I play this slightly different from Nuno. Nuno will then play it's like an F sharp minor 7 chord. So what he does is he typically kind of bars right across the 2nd fret, and then you've got your 3rd finger at the 4th fret of the A string there. Yeah. I like to put my thumb over the top and play this 4th fret of the D string with the 3rd finger, and I'm barring the 2nd fret of the G and B strings with the 1st finger. Yeah. So that's your kind of chords. Rhythmically though, what we have is we're kind of playing the chord from the bass string perspective with a downstroke and then an upstroke on the upper strings. Apart from the A string there, the A power chord, we kind of play the A chord, same strings but with the upstroke, yeah. So that's your kind of vibe, so it's like a down, up on the top strings, then there's a little kind of downstroke feel there, but the chord then happens in the upstroke, the D sus2, downstroke, sorry, and then you're playing the upper bit with the upstroke. Then the E chord, even though we've got all this big chord, all we're going to really hear is the low 2 strings, the E and A string, and the open B and E strings at the top, and then I've got the A string, the A power chord, sorry, yeah. And then what I'm going to do is I play this F sharp minor 7 here, but I do the 4, 2, 2, hit it, and warble it with the whammy bar a little bit. As I said, there's double track, there's loads of other little things going on, but this is generally the kind of vibe if you want to go for one guitar. Then what I'm going to play is this. Yeah, what I'm going to play is a D power chord, and I use my 1st and 4th finger here, so I'm in 5th fret the A string, 7th fret the D string with the 4th finger. Then I'm going to play, so I kind of, I do 4, 5, 4, and then back into this D power chord, but I've got a pan mute on it. You might hear the D string as well. Whoops. But you're aiming for that kind of vibe. So you've gone from like a D power chord because it's inverted A power chord basically. And then you do D to E, so you just got 2 frets, so up to the 7th fret A, 9th fret of that D string there. And then you're back into riff. And we have our little G, G, D, G, D that we had in the kind of intro, yeah. Now the verse 2 sounds like this. So this second verse is a full bonanza. So we start off with our usual, you know, we've just done A power chord and we have the little percussive slide up and down and our 2A power chord. All that sort of stuff. But this bit here, we have our 2A power chord. And we've got this little tapping feel here. And this is actually one of the very first kind of tapping pentatonic things I kind of played way back in the day. Actually got me into exploring it a lot more. So it just shows you how, you know, playing little things like this can sometimes spark an inspiration and take you down kind of other avenues. But what we're doing here is we'll put that A down up. Then I'm going to kind of hammer on from nowhere, middle finger onto the 3rd fret of the E string. And what we're going to be playing here is 6 notes to the beat. But what I'm going to be doing is tapping. You might find this easier to concentrate on your tapping hand rather than your fretting hand. I'm going to be playing, basically tap the 15th fret an octave above your 3rd fret there. And then I'm going to hammer. So what I'm actually playing here is like an A pentatonic minor up the strings here. So it's going to go 3-5 on the E string, 3-5 on the A string, 2-5 on the D and the G strings, and 3-5 on the B and the E strings. So that's kind of what your fretting hand's playing, and I kind of play that 2-4, 2-4, 1-4, 1-4, 2-4, 2-4. You could do it 1-4, 1-4, 1-4, 1-4, whatever kind of feels comfortable. With the tapping hand, as I said, I'm going to tap at that 15th fret, and I'm going to pull off and do a hammer on 3-5 there. Then I move the tapping finger up to the 17th fret, so you're basically going up an octave from this note here. Yeah. Then I do the same thing on the A string. Yeah. So with the number of notes on that E string, you've kind of got a beat per string, like that. Then I'm going to do a tap at the 14th fret here. Yeah, and I'm doing a hammer on 2-5 in the D string. Then a tap at the 17th fret. So I'm just playing that A pentatonic minor up an octave with the right hand. And then back to 15th fret on that B string there with the tap. Pull off and then 3-5 in the B string. And then 17th fret. And then do the same thing on the high string. Yeah, so slow that kind of goes. Yeah, and that's your kind of little tapping run there. So as I said, timing wise, if you think of like a beat being on each string, you know, 1. Yeah. And saying what I said with the left hand there, I might actually use 1 and 4 when I get to the top strings rather than 2nd and 4th finger again, because that does kind of feel kind of awkward. So that's that kind of film. Once you've done that, you're back into... Yeah, you can do the slide, do the hammer on, and you can do the slide, and do the little pickup. Next little bit, we've got this little cool bit here. So what I'm going to be playing is at 5-4 in the D string. I'm playing 5th fret that D string with the 2nd finger. Then I'm going to hit it again, but I've got a pinch harmonic bit there. Then I play 4th fret, so it kind of goes. Then I do that again, but the pinch harmonic sounds a little bit higher. Yeah, then I do that again. Then I go back to the original pinch harmonic, 5th fret, and then play 3rd fret that A string with a slight bend. So it kind of goes. Yeah, and then you're back into, yeah, except this time we do, yeah, nearly forgot. So what I am playing here, I think there's, you can hear in the double track, one guitar does one thing, one guitar does the other. Well, I quite like this sound, and you can hear it on the other track through other bits as well. What I'm playing here is once I've done the slides to the 5th fret, the D string, and then 5th fret, the B string, that 3rd finger, I'll play a pinch harmonic, bit there, close to the bridge, and then give it a waggle with a bar. Here. So, in the kind of heat of the moment, you might hear like a semi-pinch, you might hear the B string on its own. I think the other guitar tracks, just playing those 2 notes and using the bar like that, yeah, just for a little bit of difference, yeah. And then we're back into our A power chord after that. And then we have something that's into this, where we're going to be doing like a tremolo pick in the A string, with the pan muted, and go up the A string all the way up, and then slide off, yeah. So the tremolo picking there, you can go as fast as you can basically, and then slide back down, and then we're into, but we've got a little variation here. When we do this lead in, we make it a bit funkier basically. So when you're doing your little descend thing, remember we said before to think of groups of 4. So your first group of 4 is your 5, 6, 7, 5 in the D string. Then you've got your 7, 5 in the D string, 7, 6 on the A string. Now normally what you would do is go straight to that 5. What you're going to do is sit in the 6 a little bit longer. So it kind of goes like that. So you're kind of making those a bit of a kind of even. Lengthwise, they're kind of like a dotted 8th note kind of feel. And then we have a little pickup before we play this again. So I just do a little upstroke on the 3rd fret, the A string, and then you're back into the usual. Just as we had with kind of the first verse as we lead into kind of the pre-chorus. Now that second pre-chorus sounds like this. So the second pre-chorus is pretty much exactly the same as the first pre-chorus. We've got our, you know, down here. Octaves. Or D power chord. If you want, you might give a little waggle of the bar there. Yeah. It's pretty much exactly the same. But our second kind of chorus sounds like this. So our second chorus is basically the chorus played twice. If you think about that, so it's 8 bars or 16 bars. The only little variation we have is the first time we play those 8 bars, at the end, instead of playing our F sharp minor 7 chord or whatever, we have this little run that kind of goes, yeah. So what I'm doing there is I'm basically arpeggiating the kind of chord. I play as I said, the way I play it is with the thumb over the top. So I've got my 4th fret, the D string, and I'm batting the 2nd fret of the G, B, and the high E string here. So I kind of play that. So I play the D string, pan muted, then do the G string, then the B string, back to the G string. Then I'm going to do a hammer and pull off, 3rd finger to 4th finger. I'm going to do 4, 5, and then pull all the way off to the 2nd fret, and then I hit the 2nd fret again. So it kind of goes. Yeah, so it kind of goes. Yeah, and then you have a usual. And then you just play that all 8 bars again, and we end the way we did the first chorus, where you have your. There you go. Yeah. So that leads us into another play through the riff, which I'm going to call the pre-solo riff, and that sounds like this. this riff, just for kind of a little breakdown bit, it's 8 bars, and we've got our usual, you know, just as riff as before. But this time we have a little kind of country 6th kind of lick here. So I'm going to play this. I'm going to slide to the 6th fret, the G string here with the middle finger. And then that's kind of the lead in. So that's like the and of beat 4. What's actually on the beat is the 5th fret, the high E string here. And this is all kind of 16th. So what you do is you slide to the 6th fret, the G string. Then you've got the high E string. Then I'm going to slide 6 to 7 on the G string. Then I play 7th fret, the high E string, so I use my 3rd finger for that. Then I'm going to slide 7 to 8. 8th fret, the high E string. 8 to 9. 9th fret, the high E string. And then slide back, 9, 8. And then back to 8th fret, that high E string there. Okay. So, I think I hybrid picked it because one of the things about this tune at that tempo, that's quite a big string cross. So if you're alternate picking that, you would probably do like an upstroke on that high E string, like that. But I kind of used hybrid picking, I think, which is the middle finger playing that high E string. And sometimes, just to help with the rhythm of it, I kind of separate the fingers so I don't hold them on like that. I kind of put them down as I need them, and for me that just synchronizes up the timing a little bit better. Yeah, so that's the ending of the first 4 bars. Next 4 bars, you do everything same again, you know, the riff. But at the end of this, we have our a little kind of A pentatonic major tapping lick. So you end on an A power chord here, then take this first finger and slide up to 14th fret. So you go up an octave on that D string. Then I'm going to tap basically that 18th fret of the D string there. And then the hammer 14 to 16 on the D string. So if you know your scales, that's basically A pentatonic major shape you're going to be playing here. So it's a tap at the 18, hammer 14, 16 the D string. Do the same thing in the G string. Then you go up to the 19th fret in the B string and do hammer 14 to 17 in the B string. And then same frets in the high E string. And then kind of slide off, yeah? So we now get into the breakdown bit before the solo, and that sounds like this. So the breakdown bit, we're basically playing our kind of riff, but when we're playing this here, see if you can dig in a little bit more over a pinch harmonic in that. And then you get your usual descending. Again, there's a little pickup there. And this little bit here, after you do that kind of the second time, you do a little hammer on 5, 6, 7, 5, 7 in the D string. And then basically what I'm playing is kind of like a D to C power chord, but I'm only playing the D and G strings, so I do a little percussive hit, 7th fret of that D and G strings barred. I might use the 4th finger or 3rd finger. And then I've got a little percussive hit, and then I do the bar at the 5th fret, the D strings. Then I'm going to go up a tone. So now what we're playing is a hammer on 5 to 7, and then 7th fret of that D string rather than open G string. So you could do like 1st and 3rd finger there, or you could bad it. Yeah. Then I'm going to do 5 on the A string, and then 7 on that E string. You might have a little percussive hit there. Then I'm going to do so 9th fret the D string here because everything's up 2 frets. Again, you see if you can get a bit of pinch harmonic. Hit it twice as a little T up, and then your descending run is going to be 5, 8. Hammer on, then 9, 7 in the D string. And then 9, 7 in the D string. And then 9, 8 on that A string. Then I'm going to do 7 on that A string. Yeah, and then hit it again, and then move down to the 5th fret there. And then again, you might have a little T up here. Do it all again. And then as we lead into the guitar solo here, you do the 16th 4 notes, 5, 7, 8 hammer on, 9, 7 in the D string. And then everything's going to be 8th notes here, so you're descending down 9, 7, Might give a little pincher there. And then 9, 8, 7 on that D string. 5th fret, the D string. And then you kind of end it with the 7th fret, the A string here. But because there's multiple guitar parts going on here and the guitar solo being overdub as well, you can go, if you're thinking of the rhythm part here, obviously if you were playing this like no, there's no rhythm part, you know, it's basically going to be the bass. It kind of plays the kind of inferred chords. But you do that descending, end it with an E power chord for this kind of rhythm part we're going to look at next. Okay, so that's kind of your breakdown section before the solo. So the chords under the solo sound like this. So the guitar solo is kind of played in the key V, and what we're doing is outlining those kind of key chords in that key. So what we're going to start off with is an E power chord up at the 7th fret here. So I'm just playing, you know, 7th fret A string, the 3rd fret, the 9th fret, and 4th fret. The 4th finger is on the 9th fret of the G string. And then we're going to go down. So, and the timing of this is like a chord a bar here. So it's like 1, 3, 4, 1. Go down to a B power chord. Just take that shape, go down to the 2nd fret. And then an E power chord with the open E string, so down here. So I'm barring at the 2nd fret in the D strings, and I've got the open E string. So it's like 4 beats in them, you know. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we have this quick F sharp. So the chords here are every 2 beats. So you play an F sharp power chord. So I'm 2nd fret, E, 4, and the A and the D strings. So go take that up to the 7th fret, same shape. And the reason I want to play this A chord down here rather than here is because of the next chord. So I move down here, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, open A power chord. So open A string, barring at the 2nd fret, the D and the G. And then I'm going to play this in the next bar. So to help with that kind of, almost kind of, it's not quite diminished because we've got the 5th in here, but it's like a sharp 11. So what I'm doing is I'm taking that 4th finger and playing a 4th fret, the B string there. Just add a little bit of mystery to it. It's one of those nice little sneaky Nuno chords that come along every now and again. And after that, back to an E power chord, like low one with the open E string. Then we have the bit in the solo that sounds like that. Now, I don't think there's any rhythm chord here. I think it's a harmony part. So this is kind of almost a little Brian Mayism. If you want to play the harmony, what you could play is play 13th fret the G string there, and you're playing this little kind of syncopated rhythm. And I'm going to hammer on to the 14th fret there from the 13th fret. So it's like 13, 13, 13 hammer. Yeah. And then after that, we have this cool chord. So I'm playing kind of like an F sharp bar chord. So I've got my 1st finger at the 2nd fret, the E string, but I don't bar. And then I've got 4th fret of the A and the D strings with the 3rd and 4th fingers. Then I play that major 3rd with the middle finger, the 3rd fret of the G string there. But this 11th open B string here, just got that floaty kind of feel to it. That lasts for 2 bars. Then I'm going to go up and play an A power chord at the 5th fret. So I'm doing 5th fret, the E, 7 and the A and the D. Start doing kind of palm mutes on it. Got 2 frets of the E chords. And in the last 3 chords, I'm going to be playing an E power chord here at the 7th fret that we started with. Rhythmically though, you play that and then come in the and of 2. So it's 1 and 2 and. So play that chord. Then an open A power chord down here. And then the last chord is that, which is a definite Nuno fave chord. So this chord here that I'm playing at the end, I'm barring like the A, D, G, and B strings with the 1st finger. And then I've got my 3rd finger, the 3rd fret, the B string there. So it's kind of like an E7 sus4. You know, that's your 5th. That's your root note. And that's your the 4, and then you've got the flat 7 on the B string there. And then there's just whammy bar insanity before we get into the riff again. And the next bit sounds like this. So after that whammy bar madness, we've got the riff again, you know, pinch harmonic, all that sort of stuff. But we have, arguably, for me personally, the hardest bit in this tune, even from way back in the day when I was playing this. And I think the reason why I find it tricky is just because of the string crossing at speed. But there's something that might help you with this. If you want to play this like Nuno, he alternate picks it. I use hybrid picking. So I use like the pick and then middle finger. But what we're going to do I'll talk about what we'll do fret-wise, and I'll talk about what can help with this at speed. So what we're playing here is our little 6th shape again, but I'm playing 14th fret the D string, 14th fret of the B string. That's that kind of shape. You move it down 2 frets, you get 12 in the D, 12 in the B. Then you move that down a fret, so you're 11 on the D, and then first finger's playing 10th fret of the B. Move that down 2 frets, so you're 9th fret the D, 8th fret the B. Then I get 7th fret the D and B, and then 5th fret of the D and the B. And then I end it with 4th fret the D, and then 3rd fret that B string. Okay, so that's your kind of your little kind of 6th shape. But of course, Nuno picks this. So you come into this from doing, and then you're going to do slide up here. So this slide here is actually in the offbeat. What is actually on the beat is the note on that B string, or the beat and the offbeat, if that makes sense, like the 1 and the 2 and. So I find thinking of that as being the leading finger or the leading string helps with the timing of this, because that's on the beat. If you're playing it like Nuno, it means you're kind of playing that with an upstroke. So that's like a downstroke, and up, and then I'm going to be doing down like that. So it's a kind of upstroke, so downstroke in the D string, 12th fret, then upstroke at the B string, 12th fret. So it feels like you're kind of splitting this up. This is the kind of shape. Yeah, that's on the beat. You come down like that. Yeah. As I said, when I'm playing this, I think of that high E string, or sorry, the B string as being the kind of leading note. So even though that's the first note that you're kind of playing in the shape, I think of this. Then I move down to the next shape, and then think of the play that note. Obviously, I use a downstroke, but then I'm thinking pluck with the middle finger for that start of the next kind of half beat type thing, and then it allows me to be able to kind of play that at kind of speed. As I said, I can't really do it, kind of pick it at that speed. One thing that does help with that sort of thing, if you want to alternate pick it like Nuno, is you can think of making a slightly bigger, strummier type movement rather than doing this kind of moving from the wrist. So a bit more kind of from the elbow and shoulder type thing might help with it. Yeah, but that's the kind of run we got there. And then once we get down there, we're back into. Then we end with this G power chord. So I'm doing 3rd fret E string, open D and G strings. Now, because again, there's multiple tracks here. One guitar kind of plays that and kind of plays that kind of palm mutes on it, and then the little stabs at that. What I've done is I've played that G chord, and then what we're going to do is the other track does like a pick slide up. It sounds like the D and G strings, and then slide back down with the left hand. What Nuno does live is he kind of hits the flanger at that point. He goes, hits the flanger on the G chord before kind of getting into the, you know, the next kind of chorus. So you can do various things there, but that's basically how we end that like kind of riff. And then our next chorus sounds like this. So this chorus after the solo is very much like our second chorus. So it's our chorus 8 bars played twice, if you will. So you've got your usual, all that sort of stuff. And we end it the first time, 8th bar, we have our, again, our little kind of arpeggiated lick like that. You know, we do it again. Whoop. It's just the second time, the ending, when we get to kind of the 16th bar, you know, you've done your, you know, I've got the pinch harmonic again at the 5th fret of the B string with a bit of whammy bar, yeah, just like we had in one of the, what was it, one of the verses, yeah, second verse, and then you're into your, before we get into kind of the outro part, yeah. Now that outro part sounds like this. So this outro part is always really cool. I love this kind of bit. I'll split it into 2 bits. So the first kind of 16 bars, and I'll do the first 8 bars. So what we're playing here is we're back to A, you know, because we're back to our, you know, after the solo. I'm going to be playing these little 6ths again. So I'm playing like 14th fret of the D and the B strings. This is what we had in a kind of chorus, using the 2nd and the 3rd finger. But what I'm going to be playing is ascending up. So I kind of slide from the 13th fret, and I'm chromatically going to move up 14, 15, 16, 17, set that one a bit longer, and then do 16, 15, 14. Then back up 15, 16, 17. Stop at 15 here when I come back, and then I'm going to slide it. So I'll slide up to the 19th fret here, and I kind of do up, down, up, like that, and then I'm going to come down 17, 16, 15, 14, back up to 17, and then 16, 15, and down to 12. But I'll kind of stop it there. So that bit there, I kind of play that up with downstrokes. But I kind of strum that bit there. And one thing I'll say, when you're doing the descending bit, it's a little bit easier for us to do that than that. So when you're doing the ascending, that might not feel too bad, but when you're coming back down, watch you don't get kind of stuck in the fret, so lighten the touch a little bit, just to kind of get that kind of mobility on it, yeah. So as I said, we've done that. And then we're going to do the 12th fret twice, like, so it's like a down up, if you will. Then I'm going to slide up. So I'm kind of breaking up individually now. Slide up to the 19th fret of the D string. Then I play the B string of the 6th. Then I'm going to play 19, 18 on the D string. And then 17th fret of the B string with the 1st finger. So it kind of goes. And then what I'm going to do is slide from 18th to 14th fret. And my 3rd finger plays 14th fret of the B string. Yeah. So that kind of goes. Okay, watch that a little bit there. You know, make sure you get that kind of movement from 19 to 18. And then we have this kind of fill. So it's a little A pencil major fill. So we've got the scale shape. You know, 17, 14 in the E string, 17, 14 in the B string, 16, 14 on the G, A, or D and A string. You know, you get 17 on that E string, but we don't go that far down. And what you're going to start off with is a kind of bend 16th fret the G string as it leads into the next bar. And then what I'm going to do is classic, I mean this is a classic lick, play 14th fret the high E string, and then I'm banding on the B string here, so I can do 17, 14 on the B string. So you can play that with the middle finger and do the 1st finger bar, and then do the 17, 14 with the 3rd finger if you want. Then what I'm going to do is 17, 16, 14 on that G string, bringing that little bluesy flat 5 there, and then 16th fret on the D string. So that's kind of like the first 2 beats of that. The bend kind of starts before the beat 1. But that's kind of idea. And it's even 16ths, you know, so it's like E and a 2 E and a. Yeah. Then I'm going to do 14, 16 on that G string. I'm going to bend up that 16 and pull off. So you bend up quickly, pull off to the 14th fret, and then do a pull off 16 to 14, and then 16 in the D, 14 back on that G string there. So that kind of goes. Yeah, so that first bit kind of goes. Yeah. Then what I'm going to do, and this is in the next bar now, you've kind of got a quicker pull off here, and you might want to dig in and get a pinch harmonic. I think Nuno does when he plays it. You dig in a little bit more, and it's like a triplet now, so you've got the bend up and down and pull off in 3 notes. Yeah, kind of vibe. And then what I'm doing after that is I do a pull off 16 to 14 on the D string. Yeah, and then from here I collapse the first finger down to get 14th fret in the G string. I'm going to play that 14th fret in the G string, do a pull off 16 to 14 in the D, and then play 16 in that A string. Yeah, so that kind of goes. Yeah, that sort of vibe. Then what I'm going to do is kind of, it sounds like it hits both strings here, but if you want to think of what you're kind of going for, you can play 14th fret in the D string here, and play that, and then do a hammer on 15 to 16 the A string with the 2nd to the 3rd finger, back to 14th fret that A string, and you end it off by playing 16th fret the A string, like that. So that kind of second bar kind of goes. Yeah, so the whole kind of little descending lick kind of goes like this. Yeah, so that's the kind of first part of the outro. The second part sounds like this. So our bit with the 6th is all the same. This is all the same, it's just a little run at the end that's different. So this time, it's still A pentatonik major again, so remember, this kind of scale form. But what Nuno's going to do is we basically play that, there's a little gap there, kind of a little 16th gap, and you're going to play this. So what I'm doing is I'm bending up 17th fret on that high E string, up and down, and pull off to the 14th fret. I use 3rd and 1st finger there. Then I'm just coming down the scale, basically do 17, 14 in the B string, then 17, 16, 14, remember that little flat 5 on the G string, and then 16th fret and that D. So the thing to aim for there is that even of 16ths, You might hear like a little double stop there with Nuno maybe barring his finger, but this is kind of the run we're going for. And then you're ending it off by doing 16, 14 G, 16, 14 D, 16, 14 A. And then it's a D power chord here, but could be an overdub, whatever, but if we were doing this live, what I'm doing is I play this D power chord to A string 12th fret, a D string 12th fret, hit it, and then kind of slowly slide off. So that last run kind of goes, and that's you before we get to kind of the very end of the tune, okay? And that ending sounds like this. So in this ending, we're pretty much playing that riff that we had, the kind of pre-solo kind of riff. So we have our... So again, you can do the little percussive. You can dig in there, pinch harmonic, little double hitting that to pick it up. We have that again, remember our little kind of DTC power chord. Then it's the same again. And then this is the little variation. You're now going to descend down this scale and kind of step. So you've got your 5, 6, 7, 5 in the D string. There's one little good before, and that kind of sustain. Then I'm going to do a little tricky bit here. I'm going to do 7, 5 on the D string, and then 7, 5 on the A string. But I'm kind of very quickly sliding to the 3rd fret to end on that on the A string there. Yeah. Then I do 5-3, 5-3 in the A and the D strings. Yeah. Then I'm going to play basically that little ending phrase that rhythm that we've had. 2/8 on that A string, 3rd fret staccato. And I'm going to hit that 3rd fret down up. And then I end it with 5th fret of that E string with a bit of vibrato. You can get a pinch out there as well, go for it. Yeah. Live, they kind of repeat that. And then Nuno likes to end it like on an open A7 chord, like 2nd fret the D, 2nd fret that B string. Yeah, but not in the recording, we don't have that. But it's just a little variation if you wanted to kind of try that. And that's it. So, as Nuno says himself, there's a whole lot of guitar in that one track. It's 134 BPM if I remember, maybe 136, can't remember. So it's not hanging about. There's no much point of a kind of breathing space in it. It's kind of relentless. I mean, you've got the gaps in the verse. You know, it's about your kind of little gaps. So it's one of these kind of tunes, as I said, about the groove. Once you get the groove of it and the feel for it, then you can kind of travel along that kind of groove wave, if you will. Now, if you want the tab for this, the Sound Slice tab, I've got the animated tab for this. You can get it. You can loop bits, try the little tricky bits. So you can get them up to kind of speeds. Come on over to the Patreon, you've got access to that, as well as the Helix patch that I've created for this. Obviously, I've got this N2, you know, with the Bill Lawrence and the bridge, but you could try and tweak it for your own guitar, see if you can get close to that kind of porno graffiti kind of tone. You also access to loads of other things over at the Patreon. We've got loads of lessons over there and loads of stuff. So come on over. You can actually sign up for free. And if you're interested in some other stuff, you might get a little taste of other things and you can sign up for kind of a monthly membership. Yeah. If this is your first time here, if you've not seen videos before and you want to see more, please hit that subscribe button as well. And you can be kept up to date with any uploads I do. I've got loads of other kind of Nuno riffs and solo lessons on the channel, so you can check them out. But now that we've done Decadence Dance, I wonder if we should look at Little Jack Horny next. Yeah. So if you want to see a lesson on that, whenever I manage to get it done, maybe in the new year, kind of subscribe. I know you'll get updated when I put up the video. So thanks for watching, guys. Enjoy that. Have fun. And I will see you next year.